Good morning, everyone, on this nice, cool Sunday morning. This is Brother Ricky Pryor, pastor of New Life Ministries Church of Jesus here in Athens, with an encouraging thought for the day. My encouraging thought this morning is going to be, you're never alone. Hebrews 13:5 says, he said in Hebrews 13:5, I will never leave you nor forsake you. When the Lord tells us that, then we can always depend on Him being there. And I was thinking this morning on, this is the 8th year, July the 31st of 2016. We came to service just like today, beautiful day, and I was preaching a message, and I started getting the heartburn, that's what I thought it was, and I was going to baptize my oldest granddaughter, Shelby, that morning. So as I preached, seemed like the indigestion got a little bit worse, and after service, we had a great baptism, and we baptized Shelby, and by that time I was hurting pretty bad, and so a bunch of us was going down to a Mexican restaurant here in town, and so my wife and I said, well, we'll go and tell them how many's coming. So we got down there, and by the time we got down there, I was hurting so bad in my chest I couldn't hardly stand it. So I looked at my wife and I said, honey, this isn't heartburn this morning, it's something else. And so she reached in her pocket. She had been a nurse for 39 years at that time, got an aspirin and said, chew it up, we're on our way to the hospital. And so she took me to the hospital, and of course when we got down there, her and the male nurse was on duty that day. They had to carry me in. I was so weak. And of course they diagnosed me with having a heart attack, but they really couldn't do the procedure there, so they shipped me to Memorial in Chattanooga, where a little while later I had 3 stents. I had 3 blockages, 2 100% and 1 90%. And then the Widowmaker, what they call the Widowmaker, it was blocked to where they couldn't get to it. But God had formed capillaries around it to carry the blood, knew what would happen. So they put 2 stents in, one that was 100% blocked and one in the one that's 90% blocked. So I was laying there in ICU, and the same day, the exact same day, my son Jacob had to take my wife, Karen, to the hospital because she had a kidney stone. And so there I was laying by myself in ICU, and with 3 stents in me, and the doctor comes in and he says, well, I've got good news and bad news. I said, well, what's the good news? He said, the good news is that we've got you opened up where blood's flowing again. And he said, the bad news is that you've got high blood pressure and diabetes. So I sort of got a triple whammy on me that day, and I felt so alone. I felt so alone there. My wife couldn't come down, my kids couldn't come down, and there I was in ICU, and I felt like I was the only person on earth at that time. But then the Lord reminded me, I will never leave you nor forsake you. You're never alone. And truly, in the darkest times at night when we're not feeling well, or when we hear the house squeak and we're all by ourselves, or whatever it might be, just remember, you're never alone. You may be at home this morning and you may be sick, not feeling well, or you may be at work. But one thing about it, you're not alone. Jesus is right there with you. And all we have to do is call on Him. The Bible also says that He will stay closer than a brother to us, and He surely will. So as you go through today, then just remember, you're never alone. Jesus is right there with you and for you at all times. Brother Rick saying it's good to be with you today. God bless in Jesus' name.